Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to a new video. Today we'll be doing something a bit more fun, like looking at the best of the best of off meta. So like weird troll picks that actually worked throughout season 7. In case you want to have a bit more of a look for one of these, I'm going to link OP.GGs for all the ones that I have in the description, and make sure you comment down below and see if you can guess some of these I'll be talking about, or maybe some that you've played this season that I missed. The first 5 in this video are probably my favorite ones, but first up, probably the most unknown in this video, AP Rakan. It's obviously going to be AP support Rakan, surely, right? And actually no, it's like proper mid lane full AP Rakan. Protobelt, Ludens, Medjais, Leandries, the works. Now when we think of Rakan, we kind of think of the sick engage you can do, highly mobile combo mage, right? Your Q, W, and even your ultimate are 50% AP ratios, and they have really high base damage because normally he's a support. If you engage as AP Rakan with like 300 AP, not that much, 3 items maybe, doing close to like 1250 damage to everybody you hit. That's pretty ridiculous. You are super squish, but you have this 500 health shield from your passive. You have your E shield on an ally, which is like 400 shielding twice. That's pretty insane. Another more known pick is Lethargy-san. Tiltarella did this a lot. That's where I found it from, but the Bouse, I don't know how to say it, is challenger with this as well. Normally, you just stack as much AD Lethargy as possible. Get Trinity Force maybe if you really want some extra burst. It makes your passive hurt a lot more as well. And this is something that actually cheese a lot of kills. You die because you don't have any defense, but then you kill people with your passive, your zombie mode. San has the most insane AD ratios I think I've ever seen on champion, and this is why it works so well with Lethargy. Your Q is 120% AD fully charged. Your ultimate is 80% with 1200 base damage, by the way, as well. Even your W does 14% enemy max health damage. Okay, so this P1 guy is in the video twice. First for his AP hybrid Shyvana top lane, and I'm not joking. He goes further battle for AD damage, then Gunblade, Nash's Tooth, Rageblade, Rylai's. It is the weirdest build, but it has a lot of attack speed, AP, and AD. It's kind of like a weird mix of everything. Shyvana actually has hybrid ratios across her kit. W and E have AP and AD ratios, and actually like they are magic damage. You max your E, which is a lot of base damage, plus 30% of your AP, 30% AD, and that is why Gunblade is really good. And in Dragon form actually, you have the Burning Underneath, which is AD and AP again. Oh, and by the way, your ultimate leap thing does 350 damage with a 70% AP ratio. So that dive in will be like 700 damage. Next up, we have Jungle Malzahar, and this guy has been doing it all season before the rework even. I think he even did this last season as well. As if Jungle Malzahar wasn't kind of weird enough anyway. AD Malzahar, like warrior, man immune, more Mortius Malz. This used to work a lot better to be fair, but he's still making it work really. Voidlings have a 40% bonus AD ratio on them per hit. That is where the damage comes from in this build. It's a lot of damage, especially when you ult and they cannot run away. That's free damage. That's a real kicker. Malz is like kind of lucky. He has really good base damage anywhere in his abilities, plus his ultimate does percentage max health damage, so you don't really need AP. Rounding out our first 5, Jungle Leona, of course. Why wouldn't that be a thing? And of course, a Diamond 1 from Force Obscure. Leona is a beastly tank, to be fair, and catch-up experience is there to help her this season like other tanks. Red Smite, maybe Iceborne Gauntlet means she can become super hard to kill while dealing some good damage herself. Like her base damage is actually pretty high. Her QEW combo is probably like 500 damage roughly. A lot of free stats with like magic resist and armor from her W on top of the damage. I actually think if she could proc her passive on jungle monsters herself, like the bonus damage, she'd probably be a really good jungler with her kit. Now one of my favorites is actually AD Leblanc. Tibbetog managed to get to Diamond 3 with crit Leblanc this season, like holy moly. This is actually Trinity Force, Shiv, Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire Cannon, Leblanc, of course. Very high burst crit build for an AD carry anyway. Trinity Force first of all is actually really good on her. The Sheen damage is crazy. Like, Leblanc has a lot of different spells to keep getting Sheen procs over time. You have the high base damage and bad ratios, which means actually you deal good damage just from levels, not necessarily AP anyway, even if she was mid. You have your W mobility, your E chains, like big time. Chains keep them locked in place while your autos destroy them. You have a very good combo here of ability damage, which is still going to be good, and autos that really hurt. Next up, normal Poppy might as well be off meta with how little she has played, but this is Lethargy Poppy. Duskblade Rush, of course, no other way to do it. Ghostblade Trinity Force, and it makes some more sense than you probably think. First off, your passive where you throw that little buckler thingy, that actually applies Duskblade. It's really good. All your abilities, all your damage abilities are physical damage. Lethargy and AD make them seriously hurt. Like they have good ratios anyway, but even your Q is percentage max health damage. You throw in like a shield with a passive, a speed up so you can't get away, ultimate to protect yourself, and she's actually really strong with AD. AD Blitzcrank top lane is way more well known. The guy I know who does this is Primo, who has had a lot more attention. He plays him as like a damage bruiser, I guess, but it does actually make more sense than most of these in this video. This is a lot of damage, by the way. Manamune, Blade the Ruined King, Phantom Dancer, Witsen, Iceborne, Gunblade. Not all of them at the same time, but like he picks out of them basically. Your E has a really good AD ratio. Your Q and Ultimate have AP ratios. Your W even gives 62% attack speed. It's not bad, to be honest. Mana Barrier as well, your passive, shields him for 50% of his current mana, which is the Manamune synergy. Blitz Q has a whopping 300 base damage, by the way, if you didn't know that. His E will do like 300 as well, and his ultimate even 500, so that is a lot of damage. Now, AD Nocturne mid is probably actually the most legit of this video, seeing as it was played in the LCS once. It's basically like Jungle Nocturne, just stick him in a lane instead. That was actually way less obvious before I said it out loud. Good wave clear though, sustain, can push really hard, and you're gonna burst as well. Like honestly, it's just like playing normal bruiser champions, I guess, but a bit more squishy. You have your fear and your spell shield to help fight people, which is really good. Your Q to push with his passive, your ultimate to engage and fight people. He's actually a very good split pusher and a very good roamer. Shaco has had some weird ass builds this season, but there's this weird hybrid version. He gets Revolver early every game, which is bonus damage on the attack, obviously Duskblade, and then Protobell as his first two items normally. Then it's like a weird mix of Lichbane, Runic Echoes, jungle item like GA and stuff. Pink Ward made AP Shaco famous top lane a while ago, but this season it hasn't been as good. Still though, passive has dual AD and AP ratios, so does his E, actually a good one at 75%. His ultimate explosion damage as well is 100% AP. Considering your E and passive is like how you burst people, and they both have AD and AP ratios, it still actually makes sense. So lane Evelynn, new Eve by the way, but I think it worked with the old one as well. Storm Raider Surge is the keystone, underrated. You run around like a madman after the first little burst you do. Weirdly though, a lot of these guys take support AP item Frostfang to get some more gold at the start of the game. Your CS ability does kind of suck really. The rework was actually good for Eve, for lane Eve, I guess. Like more durable now after the changes. More fight power rather than cheese, but this is a cheese pick. It's kind of like laning a bit and then fighting a lot and roaming. It's like a Quinn actually, think of it like that. Remember how she just roamed 24/7? Well, that is full AP lane Evelynn in a nutshell. Now AD or AP Bard, both off meta, both work pretty well after the Meep buffs. Now AD Bard is more random though, and probably a bit more legit. Actually, it's not more legit, but it's more fun. It's weird because his kit is pretty crap for a damage champion, except his passive, but that is why it works. Bard's Meeps deal 30 damage flat, plus 15 for every 5 chimes he has. Now you can see why with some attack speed he can actually pop off. You can turn that into splash damage, a slow, and keep up to 9 of them based on his stacks. Trinity Force in this build is really perfect for him. Your sheen damage is awesome. You have attack speed, and then like a rapid fire cannon for long range slow and meep damage. Even Gunblade for his hybrid damage. So AP Sona is nothing new, but top lane or mid lane Sona, that is a bit weird. Rapping Hipster has used this to get to Diamond 2 on NAs this season so far. Frost Queen's claim for the gold generation, Lichbane, Morello, Void, Deathcap, full AP. Your base damage is quite high because you're normally a support, so you're not really building AP, you don't have that much gold, which means you have high base damage and lower ratios normally. Surprisingly though, the ratio is actually pretty good, 50% QR, and they're spammable. Well, your Q is. With their ultimate rework, which has made this a lot better, you get 10 to 40% extra cooldown reduction on her QWE, which means she can spam her Q in teamfights for a lot of damage. Full AP Gragas mid used to be meta. It feels really weird putting him in off meta video when actually like a few seasons ago he was played as a mid laner. Lots of people do this nowadays though. Learning that you can ask someone into a fully charged Q does a lot of damage. Your base damage is really good, again because you're a jungler. Not a support this time, but you're not normally building AP. You're in the jungle, you don't get as much gold, which means you don't have as good ratios, but you have better base damage. I'm talking like 300 based on your E, 400 on your ultimate, 250 on your Q, even 8% max health damage on his W. From the same mad lad, by the way, P1, that is playing AP Shyvana, we have AP Ranga. Used to be way more common and actually was a legit build when they overbuffed his AP ratios. You still have a lot of damage, but the healing can kind of be borderline ridiculous with this setup. The base damage on your other abilities are actually good enough so they can still do some damage, which is important, but this is more of a kite with W kind of style. W is the only ability that you have an AP ratio on, and it has an 80% one, so it's actually pretty good, and you can use this twice very fast, remember, with the empowered stuff. To be honest, I think this was way better when his heal actually scaled with the AP as well, not the great health thing, but apparently it still works. So the Dong leader has managed to take AP Fiddle all the way to Master Tier this season, which is pretty ridiculous. I actually can't, I've re-recorded this and I just can't say it without laughing. Your E-bounces are crazy, though you have a silence on them as well. A really good cheese pick, basically. It actually isn't that much different to other mid laners. You have good poke, you have some sustained wave clear, even a fear. Your team fighting is amazing though. You're like jungle fiddle, just more gold and a lot more damage. Now my legit favorite of this video actually is going to be AP Nas. So much fun spamming your E over and over and over. Your E can do up to like 450 base plus 120% of your AP. That is insane. Part of the reason this works this season better than before is because you get so many free stats from your ultimate. You have your W to help more in team fights. You don't even need to stack as well. Right, so support Sejuani, amazing amount of crowd control, and this is exactly why you're going to pick her. She also has decent damage and really good engage for like team fights or to set up ganks and stuff. You don't really need items to be effective, and that's the same with the jungle actually. So low income support is actually fine to still have it and have some kind of carry in the jungle instead. So lane Soraka is weird, really weird, but Shadwu has 800 games played with Soraka, either top lane, mid, or even jungle now. You have good poke, and you also have good self-sustain when you hit that Q. You have damage from your silence as well. You're not actually as weak as people think. I mean, to be fair, it's actually not that much difference from a tank top. I know it sounds really weird, but you're just backline support instead of a frontline support. Speaking of supports, support Xerath. My friend Treats played this in Master and Challenger this season a lot, but it's nuts. You do a lot of damage. You have insane base damage here on Xerath, and when Jhin was meta, you could actually use both of your ults for long range sniping at the same time. You have a stun and a slow, which is okay for like some utility. You have long range damage, and when we have like the meta of Zyra and stuff, it was perfect. You're still actually a powerhouse mid game though. It's a lot like Bram with how much damage you're going to do, but it's more pokey rather than bursty. That is going to wrap up a little look at some of the best off meta picks for season 7. Make sure you let me know in the comments which one of these was your favorite. Thank you for watching. Throw the video a like if you enjoyed, but for now, I'll leave you with the robots.